Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Imagine the day your city first got wired for electricity. Like, you didn't just wake up to brighter rooms, right? You woke up to a fundamentally different reality.
Right. The entire physical environment just changed overnight.
Yeah, because before that moment, if you wanted light in the evening, you just lit a candle or a gas lamp. It was a totally isolated, self-contained action.
Very straightforward.
Exactly. But suddenly, you've got this invisible, incredibly powerful current running right behind the plaster of your walls. So you don't just need to know how to strike a match anymore.
No, you have to understand switches and, fuses.
Right. You need a basic conceptual grasp of a power grid. Because if you don't understand that underlying infrastructure, you're not just going to, end up sitting in the dark. You're going to touch the wrong wire and get seriously shocked.
It ceases to be a discrete tool you just pick up and put down.
Yeah.
It becomes the foundational operating system of your daily life.
Which brings us to our mission for today. Because you, listening to this right now, are about to be wired into a new grid. Today, we're taking an incredible April 2026 report from the AI World Journal. It's titled, AI Literacy is Booming, and we're using it as your personal blueprint.
A blueprint to basically survive the transition from an industrial workforce to an AI-driven one.
Exactly. We are looking at this massive, ongoing global shift. Artificial intelligence is just no longer an abstract sci-fi concept or, some highly specialized track you only study in a university computer science lab.
No, not at all. It has become the operating system of the modern world.
Right.
And this brings us to what is arguably the single most critical bottleneck in our society right now. Teaching artificial intelligence, understanding its mechanics, that is the ultimate challenge for modern education and workforce training.
It really is.
We are at a severe inflection point. Our legacy educational systems and even our traditional corporate training pipelines, they're largely stuck in a late industrial model.
Still treating it like we're handing out matches instead of wiring a house.
Exactly. If we fail to comprehensively integrate AI literacy across the board, we risk leaving an entire generation and, honestly, a massive portion of the current workforce fundamentally unequipped for the future.
They'll be stepping into a world they literally do not know how to operate.
Precisely.
So let's start with the immediate anxiety driving all of this, which is employability. We constantly hear the narrative, AI is going to take our jobs.
Right, the classic panic.
Yeah. And the counter narrative, which the AI World Journal data leans into, is that old cliche, AI won't take your job, but a person who knows how to use AI will replace a person who doesn't.
That's the prevailing wisdom right now.
But I have to push back on that a little, though. I hear that phrase all the time, but isn't that kind of a semantic cop-out?
How do you mean?
Well, if one financial analyst using an LLM can do the modeling work of 5 junior analysts, 4 of those junior people are still losing their jobs. The math doesn't look great for the workers.
It's a really fair challenge. And, if you view the economy as a totally static pie, you would be absolutely right.
But it's not static.
No. The historical precedent, and what the current data strongly suggests, is that the nature of the demand changes. Yes, the individual output multiplies exponentially.
Okay.
Like, a financial worker isn't manually analyzing spreadsheets row by row anymore. They are directing an AI to run, say, 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations in 3 seconds.
Right, which is insane speed.
Exactly. But because the cost of that analysis drops to near zero, the demand for analysis just skyrockets. The firm doesn't just do the same amount of work with fewer people, they do vastly more complex, ambitious work.
Oh, I see. So the baseline of what it means to actually do the job just shifts upward.
Exactly. You're transitioning from being an individual contributor to basically being a middle manager of digital interns. Look at healthcare, for example. A nurse isn't just manually taking vitals and logging them on a clipboard. They're managing this whole array of sophisticated predictive diagnostic alerts.
Or, take a graphic designer.
Right.
They aren't starting from a blank canvas anymore. They are prompting, curating, and refining visual concepts that are generated by a machine. The human is the pilot, and the AI is the co-pilot.
Yes. But you have to know how to direct the machine.
It's like Okay, it's like we're upgrading from a manual bicycle to an electric motorcycle.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. You still have to balance and steer, but the vehicle has an engine now. You need a totally different set of reflexes. Like if you just pedal an electric motorcycle, you're not utilizing the machine at all. You'll just exhaust yourself while everyone else zooms past you.
And if you go the other way.
Yeah, if you just violently twist the throttle without knowing how to lean into a turn or, manage the added weight and speed, you're going to wipe out immediately.
Yeah. That analogy hits the mark perfectly because it emphasizes the physical, instinctual reflexes required. And developing those reflexes, learning how to manage these cognitive engines in a professional environment. It actually begins with understanding how these algorithms are already managing you in your personal life.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You cannot be an effective pilot at work if you are flying blind at home.
Which really opens up this massive concept from the report, algorithmic literacy. Right now, we have a population, especially young people, who are the highest consumers of AI on the planet. But they're often, completely passive consumers.
You're passive.
Every time you open TikTok, Instagram, or even just let YouTube autoplay the next video, you are interacting with incredibly powerful machine learning models.
But consuming AI and actually comprehending AI are vastly different things. Without an underlying education on the mechanics of these systems, consumers are entirely at the mercy of algorithms that are mathematically optimized for one thing only.
Engagement.
Exactly.
And let's break down the mechanics of that, because it's not just, showing you a video you like. How does that algorithm actually map a user's psychology?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it's an aggressive, continuous feedback loop. The algorithm isn't just looking at what you like or share.
Right, it's deeper than that.
Way deeper. It is measuring the exact number of milliseconds you hover over a specific thumbnail before scrolling. It's tracking the cadence of your scrolling, the time of day, how quickly you abandon a video.
That's slightly terrifying.
It is. It cross-references those microscopic behavioral things against billions of other users to predict the exact piece of content that will trigger a dopamine response or even an outrage response just to keep you on the platform for another 10 seconds.
So algorithmic literacy really means understanding that you are effectively in a Skinner box.
Yes.
And the same goes for large language models. Assuming you listening right now know the basics, that an LLM isn't actually thinking, it's just predicting the next most statistically likely word based on its training.
Right.
The literacy part is recognizing the danger of algorithmic complacency. When a system sounds incredibly confident, our human bias is to just trust it.
Which is incredibly dangerous in high-stakes environments. If you are that nurse we mentioned earlier, or, say, a paralegal looking up case law, you simply cannot afford to trust a hallucination.
You have to actively evaluate the output.
Always. And this extends to the broader social science of AI, too. It's fascinating how a mathematical model just absorbs the biases of its training data. Like, if you train a facial recognition system primarily on photos of one demographic.
It's going to inherently struggle to accurately identify people outside that demographic.
Exactly. And these aren't just technical bugs, They are profound ethical and sociological issues. Privacy and data scraping, the environmental impact of running these massive servers. It's a social science.
But wait, if we pull the curtain back this far, isn't there a risk of just making people exhausted, paranoid? Well, if we teach a high school student exactly how the sausage is made, the data scraping, the engagement manipulation, the baked-in biases, do they just become incredibly cynical about every single digital interaction they have?
That's a valid concern, but cynicism is just the lazy cousin of critical thinking. The goal isn't paranoia, it is active evaluation.
Okay.
The current generation of youth actually possesses a really unique moral clarity regarding this technology because they're completely native to it. They aren't romanticizing the pre-internet era like older generations might.
Right, this is just the weather to them.
Exactly. They look at the system as it currently exists, and once they're equipped with the mechanical understanding of how it works, they are perfectly positioned to ask the vital questions. Is this fair? Is this transparent? Who actually owns this data? They become evaluators rather than just targets.
Okay, but if the goal is to create a society of active, ethical evaluators, our current educational infrastructure is in deep trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the way we literally design classrooms and tests is built for a world that just doesn't exist anymore.
It is built on the foundational premise of knowledge scarcity.
I really want to dwell on this because rethinking this changes everything. For hundreds of years, a school was essentially an information distribution center.
Right.
Knowledge was scarce.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
It lived inside a heavy leather-bound textbook, or it was locked inside the professor's head. The entire mechanism of schooling was designed to take that scarce information, transfer it into the student's brain via a lecture, and then test them later to see how much they remained.
And AI has thoroughly obliterated that scarcity. Today, any student with a smartphone and a reasonably well-crafted prompt has instant access to a broader database of factual information than a professor could possibly memorize in 3 lifetimes.
It's infinite.
The knowledge is infinite, yes.
So rote memorization as a metric of intelligence is dead. The system has to pivot away from knowledge retention and move entirely toward wisdom, curation, and problem framing. And the most brilliant example of this shift from the journal is the death of the standard 5-paragraph essay.
It is the perfect microcosm of this paradigm shift. Historically, what does a student do? They stare at a blank page, they struggle to recall facts from their lectures, and they painstakingly draft an essay just to prove to the teacher that they retain the information.
But under this new framework, the modern educator doesn't ask the student to write the draft from scratch.
No, they don't.
Here's where it gets really interesting. They ask the student to use an AI to generate the first draft. The entire grading rubric changes. You are no longer graded on your ability to generate the text.
Right, you are graded on your ability to critique, edit, fact-check, and elevate what the machine spat out.
It's essentially moving the student from the role of a junior writer to being the editor-in-chief. You're grading their taste and judgment, not their typing speed.
Which is profound. You are assessing their analytical judgment and their ability to frame a complex problem.
But that requires a completely new way to measure student success. If we're going to grade students as editors, the fundamental pillars of learning have to evolve, right?
They do. And the AI World Journal report outlines a very clear emerging framework for this, 4 core competencies that define modern AI literacy. The first is pretty straightforward: comprehension.
Okay, comprehend is...
This is just knowing what the tool is actually capable of and mechanically how it operates. The basics.
Right. So if I actually comprehend what the LLM can do, I assume the next immediate hurdle is making sense of what it gives back to me. Interpretation.
Exactly.
Because I tried using an AI to draft a quick email to a vendor last week, just the simple supply request, and it sounded like a 19th century Victorian poet.
Oh, wow.
It was like, dearest supplier of goods. If I just hit send on that without interpreting the tone and the context, I look absolutely insane to my colleagues.
That is exactly it. Interpretation is parsing the logic, the tone, and the structure of the machine's output.
Yeah.
And once you interpret what it's saying, that naturally leads to the third pillar.
Figuring out if it's actually true. Critical evaluation.
Yes. Recognizing the hallucinations, spotting the inherent biases, and really understanding the limitations of the model.
Right.
It's the editor-in-chief looking at an AI-generated market forecast and saying, okay, the math here is logically sound based on the historical data, but the model entirely missed the geopolitical context of this new supply chain tariff, so the conclusion is garbage.
And then I assume you have to actually do something with that refined output, like having to hit send on the email or actually present the forecast.
That is the final competency, application. Effectively integrating these AI tools into a daily workflow to solve a real-world problem or, drive actual productivity.
It's so interesting because, paradoxically, as the AI gets smarter and significantly better at the technical generation of content, the most valuable skills in the market become the uniquely human ones.
Absolutely.
Empathy, complex communication, emotional intelligence, leadership. Like, you can't prompt an AI to sit in a room and read the body language of a client who is unhappy with a proposal.
Because if the machine is handling the technical execution, human value naturally concentrates in the relational and the strategic. This is also why traditional zero tolerance, academic integrity policies, the ones treating any use of AI as cheating, are fundamentally a losing battle.
Oh, completely.
You cannot ban the calculator once it is embedded in every desk, phone, and software program in the world.
You have to teach them when to use the calculator for advanced calculus, and when it's crucial that they still know how to do basic arithmetic in their heads to just estimate if the calculator's answer even makes sense.
Precisely. Education must define the ethical boundaries. Like, when is using an AI for coding assistance or outlining a project a best practice, and when does passing off unedited AI output cross the line into professional malpractice?
But this raises a massive socio-economic alarm bell for me. If the entire traditional educational model is obsolete and we suddenly need this brand new system to train a generation of editors-in-chief who is actually providing this training,
That's the big question.
and vastly more important, who gets access to it?
This is the pivotal divide highlighted in the report. We are looking at the rapid acceleration of the AI skills economy. In this new paradigm, your proficiency with AI tools directly dictates your earning potential.
And the danger of an AI divide is stark. You have affluent families and well-funded private schools hiring prompt engineering tutors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ensuring their students know exactly how to leverage these tools to maximize their output. Meanwhile, underfunded public schools, bogged down by those legacy zero-tolerance policies, risk falling entirely behind. They're locking an entire demographic out of the modern workforce.
But the mechanism of hiring is also changing, which, if we connect this to the bigger picture, offers a strange kind of hope.
Really? How so?
Well, it's not just about what university is on your resume anymore. We're seeing the rise of micro-credentials. Think about how applicant tracking systems, the software that filters, resumes before a human ever sees them work today.
Right, ATS algorithms.
Yeah. They are looking for specific, verifiable, cryptographic badges of competency. If a company is running its entire backend on an AI platform, and you don't have the micro-credential proving you know how to operate that specific platform, the algorithm junks your resume instantly.
Which is the ultimate irony, an AI algorithm rejecting you for lacking AI literacy. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means upskilling isn't just a resume booster anymore. It is the mandatory cover charge to even walk into the building, to participate in the modern economy.
Exactly.
But you mentioned hope. Where is the democratization happening? Because the tutors aren't cheap.
It is happening outside the traditional public school infrastructure. Major institutions are realizing they cannot wait for the slow gears of public policy to turn. You have Stanford University essentially opening up its world-class AI curriculum to the global public via platforms like Coursera.
Oh, right.
Andrew Ng's machine learning course, the Stanford Social AI Initiative. These are available to anyone with a Wi-Fi connection.
And it's corporate-led, too. The companies building these models, like Anthropic, offering free training and certification for its Claude AI platform, they are bypassing the university system entirely to train the workforce they desperately need.
This convergence of free academic resources and corporate training programs is a historic turning point. It removes geographic and financial barriers in a way we really haven't seen since the dawn of the internet.
It's massive.
A student in a rural community in the Midwest or a professional in Nairobi suddenly has access to the exact same cutting-edge competitive advantage as someone living down the street from Stanford and Palo Alto. It levels the playing field, but it requires the individual to proactively claim that education.
Which brings us to the culmination of all of this. If you are listening to this right now, the mere fact that you are engaging with this deep dive means you are doing the work.
Absolutely.
We've navigated the reality of the co-pilot era, where your role shifts from typist to director. We've unpacked how algorithms manipulate our psychology and why we must transition from passive consumers to active evaluators.
We've looked at the tearing down of the knowledge scarcity educational model, replacing it with that editor-in-chief framework. And we've explored how the AI skills economy, while threatening to widen the wealth gap, is simultaneously offering unprecedented democratized access to world-class microcredentials.
Right.
By absorbing this, you are actively investing in your own economic resilience. You are learning to ride the electric motorcycle.
There is a quote from the source material that sums this up beautifully. The future belongs to those who learn to speak the language of the machines without ever losing the essence of what makes them human.
It encapsulates the exact balance required to thrive in this new operating system.
It really does. But it also leaves me with a somewhat haunting question that I want you, the listener, to mull over today.
Let's hear it.
If we shift our entire educational and professional ecosystem toward having AI generate the messy first draft of everything, while we sit back and act purely as editors and evaluators, what happens to the physical and neurological process of thinking? Traditionally, so much of our cognitive development, the actual organizing of our minds, happens specifically during the frustrating, painful struggle of creating something from scratch. The blank page forces your brain to structure its own logic. If we constantly outsource that initial struggle to a machine, do we risk outsourcing our own intellectual growth?
It is the defining philosophical question of this technological leap. What happens to the muscle when the machine lifts the weight?
Exactly. The invisible current running through the walls makes the house brilliantly bright, but we have to make sure we don't forget how to see in the dark. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the algorithms in your life, keep evaluating, and we will see you next time.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.